Yeah, remember, we're being recorded now.
He's strategically off camera.
Exactly. All right, I'm just going to keep it next to me because I don't really have any place to put it on. And I'll start Katie's for her as well. Okay, wow, we're on the money. Welcome. This is Healing Through Tarot. So the first thing I want to do, we're going to be looking at about a 45-minute lecture today. So I want to make sure that I leave plenty of room at the end for question and answers. But let's just start off by seeing how many people know anything about tarot. Raise your hand. Yes, I know something. Some people who know nothing. Sweet. Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a very, very brief 30-second elevator speech. Tarot started to come to the forefront, I'd say, around the 15th century. People were looking for, fun, new, exciting games to play. Started off as a deck of cards that they really wanted to start illustrating. They put in a lot of good symbology in the illustrations. It started being used as more of a divination tool. It's actually, you can see the similarities between the suits in the tarot and the suits in our diamonds, clubs, modern deck of playing cards. Through time, it's been used in so many different cultures. There's even many debates about where it started from. Did it start in Egypt? Did it start in Europe? Did it start in whatever? There's a million different places, China, India, but it's around the 15th century. Everyone seems to agree that it started gaining popularity, and then in the 1800s, it really started being used less by just royalty or gypsies and more by the everyday common person. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's what we have in terms of where tarot has kind of come from and how it leads us up to where we are today, where it is used as a divination tool. Does anyone not understand what I mean by when I say divination tool? I will just explain it anyways. There are many different ways that we connect to our God source. So some of us do it through our religion, where we go to church and we pray. Some of us have our own practices that we do at home. Some do outflow writing, some do meditation, some do a combination of all of the above. The tarot is a divination tool that can be used much like reading tea leaves or a pendulum or using any of these different manipulatives that allow you to be able to ground, center, and connect yourself to whatever your belief of a higher power is. God, Goddess, Allah, Buddha, Master, the Great Pumpkin, as Kevin likes to say. Whatever your idea of a higher power is. There are just many different divination tools that you can use in order to help you access that. Sometimes, historically, and or now, it can be a double-edged sword because society does have sometimes, some aspects of society have a sometimes critical view on the tarot. Because there can be an element of, when I have these cards and I lay them out and they're in a certain order, and because they have specific symbolic meaning, I've now given my power to it. And this is inevitably going to happen. And maybe that's wonderful or maybe that's horrible. But the whole point is you've given your power away to that. And that's where it becomes a double-edged sword, because that's not the intention of it. And that's not the way it's supposed to be used or the way it's supposed to be done. Every day we make 1,000 different choices. We decide to get up and put our left foot on the ground first or the right foot on the ground first. Depending on what we decide to do, it changes the next decision that we make. Everything is always constantly shifting and changing because of the choices that we make. The most important thing to take away from this, especially as it is being used as a divination tool, is that you're being allowed to access information or the general energies around a particular situation. Because you have that information, you can then change the course of what happens to strengthen the path that you wanted to go on. Oh, I'm sorry, I locked it. I shut the door. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking there's nobody in the room. You can use that information to push you forward in that particular path, but for you to say, oh, this is the way it's going, I'm unhappy with that. So let's see what we can do to move and change it so that it takes the path that I'm looking for it having. Does this make sense? Okay. So that's kind of where it stands as a divination tool. It's something that you want to use to help support where you're at, not to think that because we're doing this, this is the way it has to be. Okay? How it relates to Wei Qi. Does everybody here feel like they have at least some sort of a knowledge of who and what is Wei Qi? Let me give you my 30-second elevator speech on that as well. Wei Qi was a Tibetan shaman. He lived 5,000 years ago. He lived in the area that we currently know as Tibet. And he and a bunch of his contemporaries were the ones that started doing some of these alternative healing modalities that we see today, whether it's herbalism or acupuncture, or you guys may be familiar with Usui Reiki, stuff like this. So back in the day, 5,000 years ago, when Wei Qi was practicing, known as the process of empowering one to heal themselves. So it was really taking, I turned it on. Didn't? Does it mean I get to be quiet or that I should talk louder?
Louder so that they can.
Oh, fabulous! I am capable of doing that. As we all know.
Project!
Okay, can you hear me out there in the back?
Yes.
Can you hear me outside? Let me try a little harder. So he was bringing all of these different modalities to the forefront. What we see now in modern day, to some degree, it's gotten shifted and changed. And what we like to do here is try and bring it back to being as traditional as it was 5,000 years ago, encompassing that whole the Wei Qi system of natural healing. Part of the tenets that go around that, again, it's the process of empowering one to heal themselves. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to define healing. And I just want to make clear that, it's something that society has taken on different meanings for, depending on how the word is being used, but we're talking about the traditional sense of to heal, to make whole. So bringing you back to a place of wholeness, bringing you back to a place of working on where those places are where you're not, and helping get some guidance and insight around that to bring you closer to being whole. Okay? So if we're looking at healing from that perspective and processing the process of empowering one to heal themselves, to help getting each individual person to become more whole, there's the understanding that this is not a passive process. This is not, my leg hurts, I'm going to take a pill and feel better. This is an active process where the client would essentially agree to participate in their own healing to get more whole. Is that something that all of you guys would agree to participate in your own healing?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. And with that, the other piece of the understanding is that we draw these life lessons to us to learn from, to grow from, and as such, as we're being exposed to them, we do learn and grow, and that learning and that growing can push us closer to wholeness, can push us closer to that healing process. Is that something that everybody here would agree with?
Yes.
That we learn from life lessons. Oh, you guys are so right. So those are kind of the tenets of Wei Qi, and how we apply them to tarot specifically is that we take a lot of the classic symbology that's related to tarot. We put it with, we complement it with the power of intuition, and then on that we add the layer of Wei Qi, looking at how to use it as a healing tool to empower one to learn more about themselves, to bring them closer to wholeness, to bring them greater into their healing. Yes?
Yes.
Good. All right. Sweet. So that's how we use it as a healing tool. Now, what I want to do is I want to just tell you a very, very short blurb about the cards themselves. And there's 78, 56 minor arcana, 56 major arcana. So the difference would be, first two are major arcana. So You've got the different suits. I could actually write those on the board, as a matter of fact. You've got your 4 suits, the swords, pentacles, cups, and wands. The swords are going to be themed with what's going on, like I would mentally or intellectually. Pentacles are usually related to money or physical, the body, physical form. Cups have to do with emotions. This is where you would see, whether it's love or whatever passionate emotions. And wands are spiritual, which again, it's a little bit broader than this, spiritual, divination, etc., etc. So these are your suit cards. And then that's your minor arcana. Then you've got the major arcana. The major arcana, the 22 cards that make up the major arcana, are your overall larger life lessons that you're looking at. It's the bigger picture. It's the picture from the outside of the bubble. It's the hawk that flies over everything and sees what's going on. Your suits, your minor arcana, are the ones that are looking at the smaller picture. That's your little mouse that runs around in the field and can see all the blades of grass and stuff. So when you do a spread and you've got both groups of cards in each, you can see how they complement each other depending on where they lie. Is this something we're looking at, a big picture issue or a little picture issue? Okay? And so therefore you would find them looking very different. One is the major arcana, and you'll know that it's the major arcana because yeah, thank you. Because it actually has the name of what the card is down at the bottom, versus your suit cards have whatever your symbol is. This would be the wands with the number on top for what number it is in the suit. Now what I want to do is I want to have everybody go around. If you feel drawn to, we're not going to do anything that's too deep or too personal, but I do want to give you guys the option to take this deck of cards, and if you're drawn to, you can spread them out and feel if you're drawn to pull one, just one. Don't look at it. Or if you are drawn to just sit there and peruse through them and you see one card that specifically you're drawn to, I want you to pull that card as well. Before you do that, before I pass that around, I'm going to give you a little handout. So feel free to take one and pass it around. And while you're holding onto the deck of cards, I want you to think of a question that you would like a little bit more guidance and insight into. So this could be something, am I going to get married next year and is the marriage going to work? Because I am probably going to ask you if you're comfortable sharing what your question is, and then what we'll do is we'll look at the card and we'll look at the symbology of the card and see if, for whatever your question is, we can give you some insight and guidance. If you want to just think of your question, write it down, but you don't want to share it with the group or you don't want to share it with me, I can come around, I can look at the card, and I can give you guidance and insight as to where I think it falls in terms of whatever your question may be. Okay? But what you're looking here, and this is the thing that makes the Wei Qi Tarot different than regular tarot card readings, is you're not looking for the answer to a question like, is my boyfriend going to break up with me? You're looking for, if you came into my office and you sat down and you said, I want to know that, what I would do is I would start picking apart what's going on in the relationship, I would try to get more information about putting together a better question that pulls at what the real situation, what the real problem is. So when you're thinking of a question for yourself, keep that in mind, okay? So I'll start with you. If you do feel drawn to pull a card, feel free to pull one and just pass the deck around. In case any of you have it going through their head, oh, but what if she takes the card that I was supposed to have? We all have plenty enough issues that we'll be working on that. You're going to get something it's going to. So don't worry about that. while the cards are coming around and while we're getting ready to start doing this, does anybody have any questions that I can answer for you about anything so far or anything regarding? Yes?
This particular deck you have is the weight sheet deck?
No, this is the rider weight deck. This is the most common popular deck. That's a really good question. Oh, I think I only have one other deck here with me that we could look at for comparison, but the rider weight deck is the most commonly used deck. It's the, just like you have your regular suit of playing cards, it's the most common one, and then you've got all your different variations that come off of that, depending on how it is that you're going to use it or what your particular focus is, and also what the symbology is that you look at. There are many other different decks. Some are very new age and modern. Some of them are a little bit more gothic. Some of them are specifically for lovers. Some of them we have female medicine cards for women. So it all kind of depends on what it is that you're looking for. It's the symbology that changes. Because the symbology changes, the meaning may shift, but there's always going to be some sort of a commonality. The zero in the major arcana is always going to represent a new beginning, the Fool stepping forward. Here you're going to see it represented as the traditional Fool getting ready to step off the cliff. Whereas in one of the big step, who wants to do that? But the other decks may present it as something different, specific to the meaning of that deck. But we're just doing the rider weight for the most common one that most people generally identify with. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay. Did that answer your question? Mm-hmm. Okay. No other questions?
You know what? Tell them that the death card does not mean anything.
Oh, just in case. That's a good. Okay, yeah.
Because
Okay.
everybody's always scared of that card. It's a good card.
There are some. Thank you very much, Lena. Yes, there are some cards. There are some cards in the deck that if you were to take a look at it, you would go, "Ah, what does that mean?" Let's see if we can find some of those. There are some cards in the deck that it looks like their meaning is very definitive, and you think, yikes. But it also, the meaning of it is also very clear. So there's a couple. Oh, there's the Tower is another one. Lovers, there's another one. Oh, look at all the ones that nobody got. There's Death. Yeah. Oops. Again, and the thing that's most important here is, oh, somebody has the devil. Which is another one I was going to use the example of not necessarily being. Oh, you guys want to pull?
Yeah.
Of course you do. Go ahead now. You won't get any of those, but that's okay because remember, we all have plenty of issues to be working on. Okay, so depending on what some of the cards, so this is the Death card. So I'm just going to pass this around for those of you who may not be familiar with it. And what's interesting about the Death card is you take a look at it and it looks very scary. It looks very, oh my God, what's going on? But there's a lot of interesting symbology in here. There's a lot of interesting things that you can take a look at. Yes, you've got the Pope that's, here, you can go ahead and take it and pass it around. You've got the Pope next to the child. You've got the skeleton on the horse. But if you take a step back and you look at the idea of death as the process of being able to let go of something so that you can then bring something else in, death is representative of change. You're letting something die. Doesn't mean you're going to die. It means there's a shift that needs to happen. I'm going to let go of my old belief systems from the Pope, and I'm going to renew myself as a child and let myself learn and see through a different set of eyes. There's a lot of the symbology in there is more about that than the actual process of dying. The same thing, whoever has Devil card, if you're not familiar about that, we'll get to that when when it comes. So I'll keep y'all in suspense. But then again, and these are just some, if you want to take a look through. This is another one people go, oh my God, I got the 10 of Swords. And the guy's getting stabbed in the back 10 times. You know, so people get this card and they're like, oh my God, something horrible is going to happen. Actually, if you take another closer look at this, again, keeping in mind that the swords represent something that's going on mentally or intellectually, yeah, he's getting stabbed in the back 10 times. But like, what a drama queen that he's laying on the floor like, oh, I'm so hurt. There's no blood coming out. He's not suffering. He's being a little bit of a drama queen here. Because this is more about like the ripening or the culmination or the coming to the end of a cycle. Again, letting go, shedding, so that you can bring in something new. It's almost the 1 plus the 0, the start of something new. The lovers, people are like, oh, good, I'm very happy and in love, and no one here got this card today. But it's really more about a new. It can be a union, but a union doesn't necessarily have to be between two people. It can be a thought or an idea or a concept or something new that's coming into fruition. We love our new pet puppy just as much as we love the new restaurant that we went to, as much as we love the person that we're with. So it's the symbology. It's whatever intuitively calls to you in the card that you're drawn to take a look at. And there's just some other examples. We won't spend much time on it. The tower. The tower is one of the ones that is pretty much well on in terms of what it looks like. There's been something that's been needing to shift that you've been fighting, so now the universe is going to shake it up for you because you couldn't do it yourself. And so you can kind of expect, not all hell to break loose, but you can expect that the change that was supposed to happen is now definitely taking foot. Because you look at the different things in there that call to you. So, now that you guys all have your card, does anybody have any questions so far about anything so far? Okay, so I want you to take your paper, and I want you to write down what your question is. And don't worry, no one has to look at anything. No one cheat off anybody else's paper. Oh, do you guys hear?
Yeah.
Do you have one? Do you have the extras?
Yes, it's hard.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So take a minute and I want you to write down what your question is. When you have written down what your question is, I want you to turn your card over and look at it. I want you to look at the card that you chose. Write down what the card is that you chose. If anyone doesn't know what their card is, you can ask me. Hold it up and I will tell you what your card is.
Sticks?
Yes, no, 7 of Wands. Yep. And
7 of what?
7 of Wands.
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 Okay.
And for this, we're just going to keep the. We're not doing any reverses or contraries or any of that. We're just doing 7 of Swords.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're keeping it. Keep it simple. Does anybody have any questions about what their cards may be? Did you get the devil?
Yes, it wasn't me.
That's awesome. It's terrific. So the next thing that I want you to look at after you see the card that you've chosen, I want you to write down what your first impressions are of the card. I just want everyone to take a second, get really quiet. Don't think about this intellectually. Think about what comes to you when you look at the card and just write that down. So let this be more organic than, what is it? That's the 10 of Cups, right? 9 of Cups? 9 of Cups. Results, emotional results coming to fruition.
You're not supposed to tell me that until I figure it out.
Oh, crap! The teacher cheated.
Yeah.
You already had something intuitively in your head, so.
Yeah. I'm going to put what I had intuitively in my head.
Yes, you should. And then I'll make it up to you by pulling another card later. was, the card that you chose, and what your first impressions of the card were. The difficult questions, like who's the practitioner and how to get in touch with me, are down at the bottom, and I've done that for you. I did not fill in the date. For some, that might be hard, since I don't remember. Oh, 16th. Today's the 16th.
Yes.
Tomorrow's the 17th. You want to pull a card, Lynette?
Sure.
Not too late to jump in here.
But everybody's writing.
No, that's all right. Come on.
Think of a question.
Yeah, think of a question before you pull a card and shuffle. Shuffle, shuffle.
Oops, no, I just jumped right out.
Then
See
that's the
that?
one. Pull it then. Pull it.
I know, 3 jumped out.
Mm.
Okay, yeah. Maybe it'll jump out again.
Oops. There you
See,
go.
there's 3. 3, they keep wanting to come out.
Okay. Do you want to be my guinea pig and go first?
Sure.
All right. Since you happen to be up here, maybe this
Do
will
I
make
have
other
to tell
people.
everybody my question?
You don't have to.
Okay, good.
You have the option. You don't have to. You have the option to. I'm going to. Go ahead, have a seat. I'm going to. Because of you, I'm going to read them the way they fell facing me. So, whatever your question was, there's some things that I want you to keep in mind. There's 2 major arcana here. So this is looking at a bigger picture,
Okay.
letting things flow and happen the way that they may,
Okay.
spinning the wheel, and being ready to jump on board with wherever it lands.
Okay.
Okay, and for you specifically, it's related to stepping into your own female divinity.
Okay.
And right now, where there seems to be some places where there's hesitation to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if this is creating a really perfect, stable moment that can be financially beneficial for you.
Okay.
Okay, so as long as you can here, shuffle the cards and see if we can figure out how to reverse that star.
Just pick one.
Just pull one. Pull the top one. Think on it. Sit there and think on it.
I'm going to
Meditate. No, it's not a casket. You're taking a break. See, the symbology is very different. It is not a casket. This is not your dead knight on top. This is another number 4, working towards good square, good boundaries, good setting up a good moment.
Okay.
Okay. So, but this is related to you and your relationship with the feminine divine
Okay.
and letting things happen the way they're supposed to.
Awesome.
Now that I've given you that piece of information, can you see how it relates to your question?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to share?
No.
That's fair. But you would say that it makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Now, do we want to, is there somebody that wants to start? And is there somebody you want to start? Okay, do you want me to
Don't
just?
be shy.
Do you want just a cold read, or do you want the cold read and then I share?
You're the boss.
I want to know, do you feel comfortable sharing with what your question
Share
was?
the question.
Share what your question
Share, I
was?
just want to share with everyone.
Okay, so, oh, Rita, you're a woman after my own heart. Okay, when will the shift of my business allow me to blend with my new career? Very soon. Okay, like I said, you've got the 9 of Cups here. So obviously, the piece that is the most difficult for you is where you doubt yourself and what it is that you're doing. But you've worked through the vast majority of that doubt, and you're in a place of a ripening. You're in a place of consequences, and consequences, good or bad, consequences in that you've done all the work to get to this point. So the direction that you're heading in, you're now in the place where it's starting to actually materialize. So if you're looking at it, when will the shift in my business allow me to blend with my new career? Now is the answer.
Cool.
Okay, does that make sense?
Certainly.
Does it fit for what you?
I'm hoping it does.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, pretty much.
okay. Who would like to go next? Do you want to share your question or do you not want to share your question?
I can share it.
Okay,
My question is, should I move in with my newfound knowledge that I have?
should I move in with my newfound knowledge? Newfound knowledge as in moving in with the knowledge, or should you
Something
make a
that I
move?
just found out.
Okay, well, you have to be careful about where you would be taken advantage of for whatever this newfound knowledge is. In terms of, you've got the Seven of Swords. So this is your choices, your actions. This is where this is actually perfect with your question, because there's an action that needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And what you have to do is you have to take a look at, are you the one who is getting away with the bunch of the goods, or are you the one who is having the bunch of goods be taken away from? So when you move forward with this action, when you move forward with this decision that you have to make, making sure that you're moving forward from a place that is very grounded and centered and informed, making very informed. Swords are very mental and intellectual, making sure that you're making a very informed decision. Before I go any further, can I ask Rita, and well, we'll start with you. What did you write down as your impression of the card? Because I didn't actually read that.
Then my cups were filling up.
Fair enough. Okay, and do you mind me asking what you wrote down as your impression?
Well, the cards are hard. I mean, it looks like he's walking away with joyfully with a smile.
Yep. Mm-hmm. He is, and is he the person who's, and this is why you look at the symbology. Is he the one who's walking away with the goods? Is he the one who's taking it?
There is no, or in that regard.
Yeah, or are you the one that doesn't have the goods, or have the goods that are being taken away?
Well,
It
there
doesn't.
is nothing being taken away.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be,
Okay.
right, it doesn't have to be, those are the choices, you know what I mean,
Right.
that you can look to associate it with. And it doesn't, also when I say the goods, it doesn't have to actually be something tangible, it doesn't have to actually be a thing. It's more like what is, whatever the situation may be. I think you said
Yeah.
sitting with this new knowledge or something.
Yeah,
moving in with this-
I'm moving into a place and all of a sudden I've noticed that there's a problem and now I don't know if I should move in or not.
Ah,
I'm like, now what do I do? I'm like more than 3/4 of the way in.
so here, why don't you shuffle the card?
Thank you.
Let's see if we can do anything else.
Because when I saw it was mentally, by the swords, I'm like,
And explain to me again what your question was? Moving in with I'm sorry, just,
well, I'll quick give you the scenario. I found there's water on the floor on the carpet.
oh, so this is actually
So
moving into a new place.
Moving into a new place. So
Okay.
now I'm concerned about mold and stuff.
Right.
I'm just concerned, I'm moving in tomorrow.
Right, so
So I'm
seven
like,
of,
should I or shouldn't I?
Right.
What do I do?
well, seven of, you have a very hard
Wands.
You have a very difficult decision to make. There's a
Oh, boy.
you should see me after this.
I'm going to.
Because they're coming right at you.
Yeah.
There's I want to say strife, but there's a,
Beware.
It's interesting.
Would you say it's a beware?
I would say that it's a beware. Again, there's not enough information to,
All
we
right,
have to
can
do
I
a whole
see you after
reading.
then?
Yes,
I
we'd
want-
have to do
I want
we'd have to do a
something.
reading to figure that
Need
out, but
something.
in that case, I would look at the Seven of Swords and I would be cautious, I would be cautious that you were the one who was being taken advantage of versus being the one that has all the cards and thinking that it's the right decision.
Mhm.
I would think that you might be the one that someone's trying to pull the wool over on your eyes. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's next? Anita.
Wonderful.
Okay, do you want to share or do you not want to share?
Yeah, I'll share. I have many interests but often feel unfocused or overwhelmed. How can I find more focus in my life?
Well, this is one of the clear, when I see this card, I think it's one of the clearest cards. Receiving a message, and it's usually a written message. Didn't you, repeat the question again?
I have many interests but often feel unfocused or overwhelmed. In other words, it's hard to decide which one I want to pursue because there's so many different options.
Mm-hmm.
How can I find more focus in my life?
Well, where have you been not paying attention to the messages that have been coming to you? Or what are the messages that have been coming to you that you haven't been paying attention to?
I'm not sure, I mean, that's sort of like a question, like if you knew you'd be paying attention to.
That's right. But maybe now that you do have that piece of information, maybe now you will be. Do you do any outflow writing?
I'm trying to do that more on a level of trying to get quiet and let it come through my voice and
Mhm.
then go back and transcribe it because it seems to come faster than I can write it.
Okay. Pay more attention to that because this is usually written. This is usually a written message.
Okay.
Okay?
But except written, I just do it on voice, on digital recorder, and then it just writes more.
Well,
also.
yeah, that's going to work for you.
Yeah.
That's going to work for you too. What I'm trying to say is it's something that's very clear and tangible. It's not like, it's not symbolic. It's not like you're going to see this water bottle and, get an epiphany. It's going to be something that's going to be more easy for you to understand.
Okay.
Written word is something that's really pretty clear,
Okay.
for everybody.
I'm getting repetitive, sorry.
Oh, I'm being repetitive?
No, her, she needs to get,
Oh,
it's
so then I would go with outflow
repetitive,
writing.
and she's not getting it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that, when I looked at that, I was getting like that he was totally focused on this one thing that he was holding.
Mm-hmm. He's actually, if you look, it's something that's come to him and he's catching. That's another way to look at it.
Okay.
For the meaning that I attach to it when I think of how it applies to you and the question that you asked. It came to him and all he has to do is catch it and pay attention to it.
Okay.
And if she's getting repetition, don't beat yourself. Don't make it harder than it has to be. Let it come and then take it for what it is.
Okay.
Don't attach too much symbology. This water bottle is going to save the earth. No, it's going to be something that's going to be more. You get the message and follow what the message is. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go, going on.
All right. Do you want to share what the question is or not?
Oh, I don't care, yeah, well, I have a great desire to be of service. Will I find and live my purpose in life?
Okay. What's your card?
The moon.
Oh! Well, this card is all about you and trusting yourself, trusting your own, connecting to and trusting your own divinity. So you don't want to get lost. You don't want to get caught in the middle. You don't want to just always be the dog that barks at the moon. You want to be the one who listens to it and takes in all the information from it and isn't afraid to listen to what that inner voice in your head is. For you also, I would say, if you were to listen to, it's almost as if you flirt with your inner voice. You like it for the intuition that it gives you sometimes, but you find that sometimes it also gives you information that makes you question some of the traditional the traditional belief systems that you have. And those are the ones that you choose to not pay attention to because they're different thoughts than ones you had had before. That doesn't make them better or worse. It just means you'll probably see more of them coming up and you'll see yourself being challenged in that way more because you're building a greater connection to, you're strengthening, you will have a connection to the divine. But this is about strengthening that and trusting that in a different way, not in a better way or a worse way, in a different way than you have done before. Does that make sense? Does anybody have anything else they want to add to that? No? What's your, what did you put as your first impressions of the card?
That I was just drawn to it right away.
Not because it's all kind of like rock star.
No, that's not me. No.
No, because that's what I think of when I think of this. I think it's a very good card for you. Definitely. Anybody else who wants to go next? Come on, we've got this side of the room. We've got the northeast side of the room. All right. Do you want to share what your question is or not? You don't
Sure,
have to.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, you got the pool!
I did get the pool card.
Ironic. Ha, 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 ha. Okay. What's your
So my
question?
question was, will the next 10 years of my life be better and more satisfying than the last?
Okay, and what did you put as your first impressions of the card?
bad mistakes.
Aha! No, well, I don't say no, because I don't want to devalue what you said, but I don't want you to, did you say that because you see him getting ready to dive off of a cliff?
No, just the name of it, The Fool.
The Fool, uh-huh, exactly. But the fool, baby, the infant, you're at the very beginning stages, you're at something new starting. The Fool means that you're an empty vessel to be filled. It just means you don't have the knowledge yet. But even though, it may look like you're getting ready to step off a cliff, you're not. It's not that you're not, because in some spreads, it could be a different interpretation, but you're just getting ready to start on a new journey, okay? Whatever this new journey is, you're really, this is the first step in the card. That's the first card in the step of a big, long cycle. Whatever this new journey is, you're going to be bringing in a lot of elements of situations that have threads that have played themselves out before in the past. But this time, when you move forward, you're going to step forward with a different set of eyes. You're going to be coming from a different perspective, and you should start looking at what some of your totems are, what some of your people, depending on where we are, phases that we go through. There's different animals that we feel drawn to, different from the medicine cards, although sometimes those can be the same. There's different animals, like all of a sudden you might be going through this phase where, I just love turtles, they're so fabulous, or I love giraffes, or and randomly you have no idea why, everything in your house is showing up as a hippopotamus. And it's because there's energies from that animal that are aiding you, that are giving you that little extra boost while you're going on this journey. You've always got that totem with you, so it might just be something for you to pay attention to. If you see any sort of themes coming up, any sort of commonalities between different, 7 times in the next week a chipmunk runs in front of your car. Maybe there's something there too.
Don't run over.
Well, that would just humanely, that would be a good thing to do. But if that happens, Lena hitting a deer, you know that. she learned that lesson, But yeah, so just to pay attention, because whatever this new journey is, it's really just at the beginning phases. The thing is that this journey that you're going through, you're looking at, it's almost like it's cyclical. This is whatever you had in mind when you wrote this question. The starting of this journey, while it's new, it's a repeat of something you've already done before. But you're doing it, there are threads that you're going to pull through, but it's going to look and play itself out differently because you've committed yourself to letting it be a new experience, or letting it be a new journey, okay? We have 4 people left. Anyone want to go? Anyone popping out? Mike's up. All right. Do you want to read your question? Do you want to read your questions?
I'm
up to
going to
you.
be vague about it. I mean, this.
Fair enough.
So I'm curious if anything is going to come from the recent reconnection I had with a former colleague.
Ooh. Okay.
You know, be vague.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, as it relates to this card, I would be very extremely cautious of what your relationship was with this person before. I would say that there were elements of this relationship that were very unhealthy, and while there were also, I'm sure, pieces of the relationship that were healthy, I would be aware of getting pulled into making sure that if this connection happens again, that it's coming from a good, positive place, versus establishing the relationship of some of the old bad habits that may have occurred between the two of you. This can be a card for change in terms of you being aware of where it is that your shadow side is. This card has a lot to do with your shadow side, and where is it in that you see your shadow side and let that go. It can be something as concrete as some sort of holding on to something that didn't serve you. It could be something as little as, drugs, alcohol, some sort of an addiction, or it can be something as some old bad habit, something sassy or naughty. What's important to know about it is that while there's a piece of you that's chained to that shadow side, if you look very closely, the chains are very loose. The chains can very easily come off. So it's not something that has to happen. It's not something that has to play itself out in a bad way. It can be a very good learning growing if you're consciously aware of it and choose not to fall into that. Does that make sense for the actual question that you had?
A little bit, it was kind of employment related, so.
Well, chains that are very chains that are very loosely holding you. That again, you have to look at where that shadow side is and where that change needs to take place in order to what your attraction is to it. So again, you have to decide: do you take those chains off, or do you decide to keep those chains on? And if this is related to something in the past, it's what was the shadow side, what was the pros and cons of that as it relates to this. So this would be another one that if we had another 10 minutes, I would have you draw another card.
What card was that one from?
This is the devil.
Oh, the devil.
Yeah, the devil.
Oh.
Yeah. So, woo! Woo! Well, let's see what we got here. Yes, you can be victorious. The world is at your feet, and financial gain.
Wow.
So there you go. So apparently we did have time to pull 3 more cards. You've got the whole world at your feet. And you've got you're sitting there. You've got holding this little ball, but there's a whole big world out there for you. Very financially rewarding. This would also be messages coming from somebody. Make sure that you pay attention to whoever there's someone who is very assertive, who is very opinionated on this, that has very strong opinions on this, and listen to what their gold nuggets of information might be, because you can listen to that and have there be some sort of a financial gain, depending on which way you go, which will leave you victorious. All right, who's next? No? Yes? All right. Do you want to share what your question is or not?
I can share.
Okay.
My question is this the year I will succeed with goals professionally, and is there recognition involved?
7 of Pentacles, I would say that what comes to me is that this would be a year that you would plan it's an action year for you. It's a year for you to move in that direction. However, I would think out the plan that you have first a little more thoroughly. This is kind of there's a sitting and a waiting and a growing. The vines are still growing. You're sitting there and you're watching them grow. They're still being cultivated. They're still gaining direction. They're still gaining development. They're still developing. So if you're looking for this, I would say if you're thinking that this is going to happen in the next few months, I would look at it for the next several months, 6 months to a year out. I wouldn't say that this is something that's going to happen because not all the pieces are in place yet, but it is something that will happen. Okay, so I would just continue. What I would do is I would do some more strategic planning on where you are, where you want to be, and how it is that you think you're going to get there, so that it gives you more clarity, so that when the pieces do start dropping into place, you'll be able to more easily identify them and move forward. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Just don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. Okay. Although, who knows, it may. All right, we got 2 left.
I'll go. My question was, will 2011 be the year that some of my business aspirations really pay off large dividends?
Okay.
And, this was the card.
Oh, hooray! Happy celebration! Woo-hoo!
Celebration, that's exactly the word I wrote down for my first impression.
Of what it looks like. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Interesting, though, I don't necessarily know that it's going to pan out in the exact way that you think it is. I would say for you to, it seems like when you read the goal, you're looking at some sort of a strict financial payback. I would not limit yourself to thinking that this is just going to be financial. or
Okay.
for you to think that the financial gain itself is gonna be so great, more or less that, there's a great payout coming to you, a great celebration coming to you, but don't limit yourself to thinking that it's just gonna be financial.
Okay.
And if you do that, you'll miss the, other areas in your life where it's gonna pop up,
Okay,
okay?
all right.
Lena, do you wanna read your
Yes.
question or not?
Let's see, is it in
Oh.
my best interest to leave my day job at the end of April?
Intuitively, you already know the answer to that question. The piece that I want to, in terms of the Queen of Swords, the place that I want you to take a better look at is, holding yourself to that time frame and getting more clarity around thinking that there has to be. The reason why you're looking at that time frame is because you know that it's very close. When it is time, you will know that it's time. It feels like you want to put the end of April on it because you know that it's really close. And a month after it comes and goes, you're going to be like, it's going to make much more sense to you. Right now, it just feels like, the water's starting to boil.
Yeah, a storm is brewing because that's what it looked like.
Yes. Oh, interesting. Isn't that interesting? See, I look at bright blue skies and you see a storm. See, it's all about personal interpretation and symbology. Of course, Lena, you're a very strong woman. And you have a nice marriage of your intuition and your intellect, so you're going to know when the time is. Of course, you know that this is going to happen. Don't hold yourself to the time frame because you also don't want to rush something and have missed a lesson that you could have learned if you stayed there, and have to in some way play itself out in perhaps the next business adventure that you take on, which would personally affect me. So, so I don't want that to happen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we are out of time. Does anybody? Oh yes! Oh, you're hiding over there in the corner. Ooh, do you want to share your question or not?
Sure.
Okay.
It looks like I'm getting a new job,
Okay.
and what will bring me success in this new endeavor?
Well, you have the seven of wands. Can you repeat the question?
When I get this new job, what will bring me success?
What's making you go to this new job?
It's time to go.
And how do you know what this new job is that you're moving into?
Yes, yep, and it's something I've been looking forward to for a while, and it's just kind of happening, and I'm excited about it, and I'm ready to go.
Okay, shuffle these cards. Have you started on this new job?
Nope, not yet.
What are you? But do you have apprehensions about this new job? This
Nope.
new job? Okay. Go ahead.
King of Cups.
I would say as a homework assignment to look at where you do actually have apprehensions. Maybe you think it's like wonderful and it's great and you're very excited about it, and that's all great. That's a wonderful, that's a good thing. But there's always going to be some place that you might have insecurities about, and take a look at where, even if we all won the lottery, we'd be so excited that we won the lottery, but we'd still have some fears about, relatives coming out of the woodwork wanting cash. So where is it in this new job that you have concerns? And if you go into the job with wider eyes about where those concerns may be, you're going to have a better time. It's going to be easier for you to get to take action faster. So whatever this new job is, the role that you're going to play in this new position, this company, this job, this career, the role that you're going to have is not, this is not a menial job. This is a very important job. This is a job that helps define your character. And because of that, it's going to push your buttons and make you question and draw things into question that you haven't felt like you've had to question about yourself before. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So within that, you have to just be more aware of what those might be,
Okay.
so that when it comes up, when it happens, when you see it, you don't get too emotionally attached to it. You're coming from a more grounded, centered place to be able to act on it appropriately.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it looks good. I mean, it looks like it's gonna push you. It's
I'm
gonna push
sure.
your buttons.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, so as long as you're aware of that, you'll be able to stay ahead. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? No? Okay, well, thank you all very much. And, that's it.
Awesome.